Jai Hind viewers, we welcome you back with another episode from our platform, MRO Channel Forum. Today marks 2 years of our forum, and I have the great pleasure of interviewing and talking to one of our members, Major General Ashok Kumar Vishisht Seva Medal, who has been a member of this forum right from the beginning and who has advised me and who has helped me shape this platform and bring it to where it is today. So much so that the recording which you're seeing today, this very format we set up together, both of us. He advised me and we set it up. A few words about him and then we will take his views. Major General Dr. Ashok Kumar Vishisht Seva Medal is a Kargil war veteran. He has operational experience both on Pakistan as well as Chinese borders, including LOC and LAC. He commanded a formation in Arunachal Pradesh where 1962 war battles were fought as well as activated during 1987. He is a defense and strategic analyst, senior fellow of CLAWS, and author of two books, China Betrays Again and Indian Churnings on the Global Stage. He is currently Director General of St. George. He speaks on many platforms and is a prolific writer, and many of his articles can be found on our platform as well. It's a privilege to have him as a member of our platform. General Ashok, the first question to you is, multiple conflicts have emerged on the world stage, and probably more are waiting to happen. Legacy as well as current equipment have become the major contributors to the outcome of these conflicts. How do you see the role of equipment as a battle winning factor? General Ashok, please.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to speak on this platform, which has been very close to my heart all these days. And you may not agree because of your humility, but the kind of service this platform is going to do to the defense forces in general and the Indian armed forces in particular is something people and subsequent generations will always be proud of. And as we go ahead, I think the decision makers and the stakeholders have already started taking note of activities which are being done by the platform. And as we go ahead, its intensity and its say is only going to increase. Having said that, coming to the question per se, you have seen that a different kind of war fighting has emerged in current days. Invariably, even the stronger and weaker countries are fighting. Still, they are not reaching any decisive outcome in a short time frame. Russia-Ukraine is one example. If you see Israel-Hamas is another example. Or something is otherwise happening in West Asia. And as you rightly brought out, there are more conflicts which are likely to happen. The Russia-Ukraine war may expand in the rest of the Europe. The Israel-Hamas war may expand in the West Asia. And whatever is happening in South China Sea or Indo-Pacific between China and multiple other nations, be it Philippines, be it Vietnam, and be it South Korea, be it Japan, that is also a flashpoint which is ticking to happen. Even on India-China relationship, China is already sitting on line of actual control in Eastern Ladakh for quite some time. But there have been a number of activities which have happened in the recent past. To include few of them, one is that the greetings between Taiwanese president to our prime minister when he got elected for the third time, which was highly objected by China. the visit of Nancy Pelosi and the US lawmakers to Dharamshala to meet the exiled government and Honorable Dalai Lama, that is also causing a lot of ripples in China. USA has already passed a law wherein they say clearly that Tibet is an independent nation and China needs to talk to them. So these are the activities, and there are very many more which are indicating that the uh, conflicts are only likely to expand in days ahead. Another facet which has emerged that there have been substantial damage to the equipment, and those countries which have got the industrial capacity to replace their equipment or repair them in battlefield conditions are able to adopt the current inventory as per the future technological needs. They are the only going to survive. None of these conflicts will ever tell you that what kind of strategic, operational, or tactical brilliance was used by any of these two sides, but it will be always talked in terms of equipment. We have seen when Russian tanks lined up outside Kiev, for a number of kilometers, but thereafter there have been a lot of damages suffered by those tanks. One of the superpowers in the world has not been able to replace that despite having such an industrial capacity. So the countries in the kind of conflicts which are emerging these days, they are going to be very prolonged ones. And those who can sustain these conflicts with equipment and its availability to the fighting troops in the front lines, they are only going to be the winners. And therefore, in today's time, I think the equipment has become the most important battle winning factor.
Thank you very much for that, General Shok. And from what you said, I can bring the next question. That is, given the destructive power with parties to the conflict, substantial damage to the equipment takes place. How can such a situation be handled? General Shok, please.
Absolutely, sir. If you see when Russia-Ukraine conflict started, it appeared as if Russia is going to overpower Ukraine in no time. That didn't happen, and of course, Ukraine has the support of the USA and other NATO countries at its beck and call. But they have, besides the conventional weapons, they have also used the modern weapons in terms of drones and other techniques. They have used the shoulder-fired missiles. They have used the anti-tank missiles. And these have had a telling impact on the Russian equipment. Now, if the Russians, or for that matter, any adversary is not able to recoup these losses, and these recouping of losses is not that you can be done in any number of years. It has to be done in a time frame that the absence of the equipment is not felt by the users. So it will involve the requirement of in situ repairs by the combatants, those who can handle the equipment. Also, those equipments which require long repairs, they have to be also not be brought back to the too much rare, because then their availability in any case is going to affect adversely. So the entire dimension of the MRO, that has to be very, very energetic, and the combat engineers in the armies who do this job proficiently, they are going to be on the winning side.
Thank you for that very nicely covered aspect of MRO in actual battle. And as MRO has emerged as a mainstay of equipment resurgence, how can we optimize its full potential? General Shok, please.
Sir, initially MRO sadly was seen in a very, very narrow perspective. But as this forum has already highlighted, that the role of MRO is actually is starting from the concept of the equipment being developed itself, from the design, development, prototyping, manufacturing, induction, use, and midlife, upgrades, and finally discard and thereafter. There is no stage of the equipment in which MRO is not involved. If the engineers who are entrusted with the MRO, they are integrated with the entire process, they will facilitate the production of better equipment, an equipment which is not that costly, not only at the time of fabrication and manufacturing, but in its entire life cycle it remains less costlier to the user, and then its efficacy and output and impact is also maintained. So if the equipment resurgence has to take place, I think the countries and especially countries like us who don't have that kind of luxury of funds which are there in the United States of America, China, and elsewhere, there they have to look at MRO very, very seriously. I will not be going wrong if I say that even the MRO's importance to the entire equipment procurement is much more important. So only if the MRO has been factored right from womb to tomb, that famous saying, then only we will be able to get the better equipment which is in tune with the current times war fighting needs, which is less costly, at least over the life cycle in which it has to be used. So that will result in one portion, that is preservation of the good quality equipment. And second is that once you go into the conflict and there are damages which are going to be happening, not only because of enemy action but also because of the prolonged usage, the adverse weather, and environmental conditions. So the combat engineers have to be with the requisite spare parts, with the equipment, fighting shoulder to shoulder, so that the in situ repair can be undertaken, and the people who are fighting, they don't have to look back for the equipment. Even if the equipment is kept out of action for some time, that time is not that much extra that the fighters are feeling absence of that equipment. And then from there on, whole chain of the MRO teams at multiple echelons will be needed. The front line, I think, in front of the TBA, it has to be purely, to my mind, competent engineers. From behind the TBA to the middle tier, it could be a mix between the combatants and the public private public partnership model industrial representations, and in the fag end there could be industrial representation, but of course technically and qualitatively advised and supervised by the competent people. So if we do these two things, we will be able to preserve and then maintain in case of the adverse actions, and both these activities will result in resurgence of equipment.
Yes, indeed. These are important points. And in India, we are blessed to have substantial capacity in MRO domain. How can this be leveraged for meeting the need of the Indian Defense Forces as well as that of friendly foreign countries? General Ashok, please.
Sir, if you see whether mythologically or historically, India has been a country which has been blessed with skill sets. And despite we being under rule of another country for quite some time, the basic skill sets still have remained intact. And now once these are being re-energized, and we have a very large pool of defense veterans in all ranks, I think the skill sets can be leveraged to meet the requirement of the defense forces for the purpose of MRO. And not only that, in fact, if you just move out, the Western countries have got the plethora of equipment, sophistication, and other things, and they are focusing less on the skilling set. But if you go to multiple cities in the country, whether you go to Ludhiana, Batala, Rajkot, or in fact, if you just see the mechanic sitting next door to your house, you'll find that the kind of skills these persons have, even despite the not having adequacy of the equipment, they are still doing a marvelous job. Now, this is what kind of approach and capability is needed in the battlefield. In the battlefield conditions also, you will not find that the ideal space and ideal equipments are available. So at times you have to go in for suboptimal solutions till the time it is not going to affect the life of the operators or the users. So only thing we have to document, authenticate, enhance the skill sets, and then I think the people can do a lot, not only for our own country, but also to our friendly foreign countries who are currently also in need of this kind of support.
Yes, indeed. In fact, the skill set can be really leveraged. And towards that, General Ashok, how do you feel that MRO can contribute to our comprehensive national power?
Sir, this is actually, if you remember in our initial discourse, this came up very clearly that it is the responsibility of each one of us to contribute towards nation building in whatever manner we can, and ultimately all that adds up to the comprehensive national power. And MRO is an activity where we have substantial skill sets, substantial will, substantial HR who is inclined to get invested in this. And I think in today's time, the fund wise also, the country has already reached the fifth largest economy, moving towards the third largest economy. There are investors who are moving away from adversarial countries and gravitating towards India. A lot of things are happening in the aero domain, port domain, Sagarmala projects, and in the land forces domain also. And these opportunities in India are going to add to the kitty of the national wealth in a substantial manner. It will not require a huge investment and then resultant output. It is I can say it is a kind of low hanging fruit, wherein the investment is low but the yield is very high. And this opportunity has further increased because of the Russia getting involved in the conflict. So more than 75 countries which have drawn equipment from Russia, they are also looking at India for servicing and MRO support in those particular domain. Even USA and NATO countries, to checkmate Russia and to support Israel, they have also got invested in those countries in a substantial way. So even their bandwidth has got reduced. So today, a majority of the world, except few like China, North Korea, and others, everyone is looking towards India for the MRO support. And once we leverage this, and I go by your cliche that after make in India, we must declare maintain in India. I think MRO itself will be able to generate a lot of employment, a lot of capacity building, and lot of financial value generation, enhancing the comprehensive national power. And I will not be factually incorrect that in case we do so, even our time frame to move from the fifth largest economy to third largest economy, that time frame will also shrink and we will reach there faster.
So you really comprehensively set out the opportunity which is there in front of all of us to see. And I'm sure there will be a lot of viewers will be interested in pursuing that particular, whether they are in policy making or they are actually in the industry or if they are able to contribute towards this. So with that, viewers, we come to an end to this particular interaction. It's been really a pleasure talking with Maj Gen Dr. Ashok Kumar, Visesh Seva Medal, and he has always been a contributor and a guiding light to our platform, and I look forward to bringing him back on our platform for interviews, further interviews with you. And on behalf of the viewers, I thank General Ashok. And with that, we bring this particular episode to a close. Thank you very much for listening. Jai Hind.